Hey guys, Sam here, and today I'm going to be making my predictions for the 2018 NFL playoffs. Now, the divisional round of the playoffs is this weekend, so I've been putting a lot of thought and effort into my picks for who will win the remaining games. So, without further ado, let's get right into the predictions. So, the first game I'm going to be talking about is the New England Patriots versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, let me preface this by saying that this was probably, out of all the games, this was probably the easiest one for me to pick. The Titans were outscored in the regular season as far as their point margin goes, and the Patriots have a plus 162 point margin, which is crazy. The Titans have a good run game, but it won't be enough, especially considering that they don't have a top 10 defense or offense, which is something that each of the other playoff teams has. I think the Patriots win this one 24-10. Next up, I'm going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Steelers are on fire right now. They've won 10 of their past 11 games, and a huge part of that is their offense. The Steelers have the most offensive weapons in the league, with Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown, who are some of the best players at their positions. Blake Bortles, Jacksonville's quarterback, won't be able to compete with Pittsburgh's offense. I think the Steelers will win, and the final score will be 27-13. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Philadelphia versus Atlanta. Now, this is the first time where a number one seed is an underdog in the divisional round. And this is because the Eagles lost their star quarterback, Carson Wentz, with a torn ACL in Week 14. However, the Eagles are not a bad team, and they have a capable backup for Wentz in quarterback Nick Foles. The Eagles need to remember that it wasn't just Wentz that got them the number one seed. It was the whole team. Now, on the other side, the Falcons are playing for revenge after blowing a huge lead last year in the Super Bowl. In the end, it comes down to experience, and the Falcons have more of it. I think that the Falcons win this game fairly easily. Final score, 20-10. Now, next up, I'm going to be talking about Minnesota versus New Orleans. Now, for me, by far, this was the toughest divisional round matchup to pick. I think the biggest matchup will be New Orleans' second-ranked offense, against Minnesota's first-ranked defense. I think the key in this game is the quarterback matchup. Drew Brees is a proven quarterback with a great postseason history. On the other hand, Case Keenum is making his first playoff start. In the end, I think the Saints' pass rush will get to Keenum when it counts, and Drew Brees will find a way against the tough Minnesota defense. The Saints will win one of the best games of the playoffs. The final score I'm predicting is 21-20. Close game. Next up, I'm going to be talking about New England against Pittsburgh. Sorry, that's all the divisional round games. Now I'm going to be talking about the conference championship games. The AFC conference championship will be between the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this is the game that a lot of people have been anticipating, and it may be the best game in the playoffs. The Steelers will be looking to avenge their Week 15 loss to the Patriots, which was decided by a questionable call on a touchdown catch that would have given the Steelers a late lead and probably the win. Now, I think that in this game, the Patriots are going to try and shut down Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh's wide receiver. But I think that that's going to make way for Juju Smith-Schuster, Steeler rookie wide receiver who's had a breakout year, to be a playmaker and be a huge part of the game for Pittsburgh. I think that this will be a high-scoring game, and I think that this time the Steelers will win. I think they'll win in the last seconds to go to the Super Bowl. Final score, 38 35 Pittsburgh. Now, on the other side, in the NFC, I'm going to have the Atlanta Falcons and New Orleans Saints in the NFC Championship. Now, this is another tough game to pick between two great offenses. This one's a toss-up, but I think that the Falcons' offensive weapons will lead them to a win. I think that Devontae Freeman will be a huge difference maker in this game, and I think that the Falcons will find a way to win in New Orleans and advance to the Super Bowl, where they will look to avenge last year's loss. I mentioned already that they blew a 28-3 lead. So that brings us to the Super Bowl. I think that the two teams playing in this year's Super Bowl will be the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons, as I just mentioned. Now, both of these teams come into the game red hot after upsetting some great teams to get there. However, I think that the Falcons' luck runs out here. The Steelers' wealth of offensive weapons will prove to be too much for the Falcons' defense to handle, and I think the Steelers will also find a way on defense to contain Matt Ryan, the Falcons' quarterback, and cruise to their franchise's 7th Super Bowl win, which is crazy. I think Pittsburgh wins the 2018 NFL Championship by a score of 31-14, and I think that Antonio Brown is the Super Bowl MVP. So that's all the picks, guys. Thanks for watching. Please comment below if you want to see more content like this, and subscribe to the channel for video updates. See you next time, and enjoy the playoffs.